The Democrats are the party of no common sense. Bill Maher defends parents rejecting CRT and says teaching the history of racism in the US is not the same as teaching that racism is the essence of America. Real-time host Bill Maher laid into criticized race theory in American schools and cancel culture in a freewheeling interview with Maher, who describes himself as an old-school liberal, slammed the far-left and progressive side of the Democrats, which he called the party of no common sense. He added that he supported teaching the history of racism in America, but that's different than teaching children that racism is the essence of America. That's what people get upset about, or involving children who are not old enough or sophisticated enough to understand this very complicated history. Maher also told Cuomo that he supports Dave Chappelle, who received backlash after making derogatory comments about trans people, and said he himself has received calls to be cancelled from conservatives and liberals alike. The late-night host warned that Donald Trump would run for re-election in 2022, and further a slow-moving coup take over the GOP with his supporters. Maher has often been vocal against critical race theory and supporting parents across the nation who reject the controversial teaching method. Defenders of current progressive school policies argue that CRT is a college-level academic theory that isn't taught in schools and that it's being used as a catch-all term to scare parents. But those opposed say many lessons and school policies, most under the umbrella of diversity, equity, and inclusion, are created by adults influenced by CRT. Maher told Cuomo that through CRT-influenced classes, kids are taught and sometimes separated into groups, oppressor and oppressed. Does a kid even know what those words mean? When Cuomo brought up the argument that avoiding the realities of racism in America is akin to hiding from the truth, Maher dismissed the idea. That's nuts. That's just silly. It's just virtue signaling, he said. Maher added that CRT has become very polarizing in the US and influenced Democrats' loss in the Virginia gubernatorial race when Republican candidate Glenn Youngkin made education and anti-CRT policies his main platform. Maher and Cuomo went on to discuss cancel culture and the controversy surrounding comedian Dave Chappelle, whose The Closer Netflix special has been heavily criticized for jokes against the trans community. In the stand-up special, Chappelle mocked the idea that gender could be fluid and defended Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling for her statements that transgender women were not actually women and were a threat to her identity. Like Chappelle saying he was on Team Rowling, Maher said, "I'm Team Dave and free speech." Maher said that Chappelle's stand-up was opening up dialogue about the trans community and doubted that Chappelle was a transphobe, as many critics have said. Maher told Cuomo that what it means to be trans is still new and should not be used as a weapon against those who are asking questions. This is new.